In this lecture, we discuss all the formulas related to reduction formula. Let us start from some important definite integral formula. The first formula is integration of f of x under the limit a to b with respect to x, which is equal to integration of f of t under the limit a to b with respect to t. So now this formula shows that the variable is immaterial in case of definite integral. So instead of writing variable x, we can also write the variable t over here. The second formula is integration of f of x under the limit a to b with respect to x, which is equal to integration of f of x under the limit a to c with respect to x plus integration of f of x under the limit c to b with respect to x. So now in this formula, we have breaked the limit a to b in two limits, a to c and c to b. So we always consider that c is the middle of, or it will be the value which lying between a to b. So this is called splitting of limit in the definite integral. The third property is, our third formula of definite integral is integration of f of x under the limit 0 to a with respect to x, which is equal to integration of f of a minus x under the limit 0 to a with respect to x. So now here in this formula, x can be replaced by the upper limit minus the variable. Now here f of x is replaced by f of a minus x. So this is also very important formula, and definitely we use this formula while solving the reduction formula. The next formula is integration of sine x under the limit 0 to pi by 2 with respect to x, which is equal to integration of cosine x under the limit 0 to pi by 2. So now this is the direct use of the formula number, previous formula. If we put x is equal to sine, if we write down, just let us take over here 0 to pi by 2 sine pi by 2 minus x dx. So we know that sine pi by 2 is nothing but cos pi by 2. So this can be written as integration under the limit 0 to pi by 2 of cos x dx. So now this formula is the direct use of application of the previous formula. Integration by part, this is very important formula, and it is used when we want to integrate the product of two functions. So integration of uv with respect to x, which is equal to u integration of v with respect to x minus integration of whole du derivative of u with respect to x, integration of v with respect to x, and this should be closed, and we can take that the whole integration of this part with respect to x. So this is called integration by part. The next thing is the generalized integration by part. It can be written as integration of uv with respect to x, which is equal to u into v1 minus u dash into v2 plus u double dash v3 minus u triple dash v4, and so on, where dashes denote the order of derivatives like that. It is differentiated one time. One dash means one time. Double dash, it means double derivative. Triple dash, it means triple derivative. And suffixes denote the order of integration like that. V1 means we have integrated one time. V. Similarly, V2, it means V is integrated two times. V3 means V is integrated three times. And V4 means V is integrated four times. So the learning of this formula is very simple. If the order of derivative is odd, then the term will be minus, and otherwise it will be plus. So alternate plus minus will come. Now, the next part is the reduction formula for trigonometric functions. So now we have the first formula, integration of sine to the power nx with respect to x, which is equal to minus sine to the power n minus 1x into cos x upon n plus n minus 1 upon n into integration of sine to the power n minus 2 x with respect to x. So now this is the reduction formula of trigonometric function sine to the power nx. So here in is reduced to n minus 2. Similarly, the reduction formula for cosine to the power nx dx or integration of cos to the power nx dx, which is equal to cos to the power n minus 1x into sin x upon n plus n minus 1 upon n into cos to the power n minus 2x, integration of cos to the power n minus 2x with respect to x. The third reduction formula of trigonometry functions is integration of 10 to the power nx with respect to x, which is equal to 10 to the power n minus 1x upon n minus 1 minus integration of 10 to the power n minus 2x with respect to x. Reduction formula for cot to the power nx with respect to x. So integration of cot to the power nx with respect to x, which is equal to minus cot to the power n minus 1x divided by n minus 1 minus integration of cot to the power n minus 2 x with respect to x. The fifth formula is the reduction formula of integration of sec to the power nx dx, which is equal to sec to the power n minus 2x into 10x divided by n minus 2 plus n minus 2 upon n minus 1 and integration of sec to the power n minus 2x with respect to x. The sixth formula, reduction formula is the integration of cosec to the power nx with respect to x, which is equal to minus cosec to the power n minus 2x into cot x upon n minus 1 plus n minus 2 upon n minus 1 integration of cosec to the power n minus 2x with respect to x. And the seventh integration formula or reduction formula is based on the product of sine function and cosine function. So integration of sine to the power mx into cos to the power nx with respect to x, which is equal to minus sine to the power m plus 1x into cos to the power n minus 1x whole divided by n plus n minus 1 upon m plus n into integration of sine to the power mx into cos to the power n minus 2x with respect to x. So these are the very important reduction formulas which we have already uh, have obtained in the whole lectures. So these are the very important formula, reduction formula, which are important in to solving the such type of trigonometric reduction formulas. Reduction formula for definite integral. So the first definite integral is sine to the power integration of sine to the power nx under the limit 0 to pi by 2 with respect to x, which is equal to n minus 1 upon n into n minus 3 upon n minus 2 into n minus 5 upon n minus 4 into 5 by 6 into 3 by 4 into 1 by 2 into pi by 2 if n is even. If the value of this n is even, then we use the first formula. We have to multiply by pi by 2. And if n is odd, then all the things n minus 1 upon n into n minus 3 upon n minus 2 into n minus 5 into upon n minus 4 into up to 6 by 7 into 4 by 5 into through 2 by 3, which is multiplied by 1. So this is the basic difference. If the value of n is even, then we have to multiply by pi by 2. And if n is odd, then we have to only multiply by 1. And we have already seen that the definite integral of sine to the power nx under the limit 0 to pi by 2 with respect to x, which is equal to the definite integral of cos to the power nx under the limit 0 to pi by 2. So the same formula can be also applicable for the cosec to the power nx under the limit 0 to pi by 2 x with respect to x. Now, the we have already seen what is the reduction formula of integration of sine to the power mx into cos to the power nx dx. Now, if we put the limit from 0 to pi by 2, so the reduction formula is changed and we are getting the another value of this. So now, what is the reduction formula of sine to the power mx into cos to the power nx under the limit 0 to pi by 2 with respect to x, which is equal to m minus 1 into m minus 3 into m minus 5 up to it will give 2 or 1. It depends upon the value of m is even or the value of m is odd, which is multiplied by n minus 1 into n minus 3 and to n minus 5, and it will again give us either 2 or 1 based on the value of n, whole divided by m plus n into m plus n minus 2 into m plus n minus 4 into m plus n minus 6. It again gives us either 2 or 1 depending upon the value of sum of m plus n, which is multiplied by p, where p is equal to pi by 2 if m and n both are even. M and n both are even, and its value is 1 for other values of m and n. So now there may be four values, m and even both are even, then we will multiply by pi by 2. The second will be m is even, n is odd, or m is odd, n is even, or m and n both are odd. So for all three cases, we have to multiply by 1. So this is also very important formula, but here very important thing is here m and n, these are positive integers in each and every cases. This is also m and n are positive integers. The sixth formula is now sometime we have already seen that the reduction formula of sine to the power nx or cos to the power nx or sine to the power mx cos to the power nx. These are applicable when the limits are 0 to pi by 2. So now what will happen if the limit will be 0 to pi? So now there is a one more formula for if we have integration of sine to the power nx with respect to x under the limit 0 to pi by 2. So it will be 2 times of integration of sine to the power nx under the limit 0 to pi by 2 for all positive integers of n. So that can be written as 2 times of 0 to pi by 2 integration of sine to the power nx with respect to x under the limit 0 to pi by 2. Similarly, if we have given a cosine function cos to the power nx under the limit 0 to pi with respect to x, then it will be 2 times of integration of cos to the power nx under the limit 0 to pi by 2 with respect to x if this n is even. If then this n is odd, then its value will be 0. In case of sine, it is always 2 times of the integration of 0 to pi by 2 of sine to the power nx dx. But in case of cosine, it is only 2 times if the value of n is even. If it is odd, then we can directly write its answer is 0. The sixth formula is what will happen if the integration of sine to the power nx under the limit 0 to 2 pi with respect to x. So again, this is what it is 4 times of 0 to pi by 2 under the limit 0 to pi by 2 integration of sine to the power nx with respect to 0 to pi by 2 under the limit 0 to pi by 2 with respect to x when n is even. But if n is odd, then its value is 0. So suppose if we have given some integration like that, suppose n is given 5, so ultimately its value will be 0. If it is 4, then this will be 4 times of integration of 0 to pi by 2 of sine to the power 4x with respect to x. 7, what will happen if we have given the cosine function? So this is the similar to if we want to find out the reduction formula of cos to the power nx under the limit 0 to 2 pi with respect to x, then its value is 4 times of integration of cos to the power nx under the limit 0 to pi by 2 with respect to x if n is even, otherwise its value will be 0. So if the limit is 0 to 2 pi, then we have the same formula for sine function as well as cosine function. The eighth formula is based on the product of two trigonometric functions, sine to function and cosine function. So what is the integration of sine to the power mx cos to the power nx under the limit 0 to 2 pi with respect to x? So this will be 4 times of integration of sine to the power mx cos to the power nx under the limit 0 to pi by 2 if m and n both are even. Otherwise, its value will be 0. And the last formula, if the what is the integration of sine to the power mx into cos to the power nx under the limit 0 to pi with respect to x. So this its value is 2 times of integration of sine to the power mx cos to the power nx with respect to x under the limit 0 to pi by 2 if n is even for any m. So here this is only depending upon n. If the n is even, then its value is 2 times. M may be even or M may not be even, it may be also odd, but n should be always even. Then its value will be 2 times. But if n is odd number, then its value will be 0. So these are some reduction formulas for definite integral. After that, this is the last topic or last lecture of this reduction formula. So now give the you can test your knowledge on reduction formula by filling or giving the exam using the Google form which is given in the description box. Thank you. So the link of this test is are as follows. Using this link, you are able to give the test on reduction formula. Thank you.